Ladies and gentlemen, as promised, here is the second video of the day. The first was all about the story of Call of Duty Black Ops 6. As of today, we got a trailer, which actually got removed for some reason from the YouTube channel of Call of Duty, and on top of that, a blog post. In the combination of two, it explained to us the story of the campaign and the gameplay of the campaign. So the story video is already up. It'll be linked down in the description and after the video. This one is all about gameplay, and on top of that, the campaign rewards. In other words, what you get and what you unlock as a whole for multiplayer, Warzone, and zombies when you play the campaign. And more than ever, when you unlock blueprints, you actually unlock the base weapon when you are prestiging. So these are very important this year. So let me start off with the rewards, and then I will get into everything you need to know about the gameplay of the campaign. So campaign rewards work a little bit different this year. They're not just for completing missions, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. But as far as the big ones, we have 5 different weapon blueprints, including the Bastion, which it says it's a pistol, but it looks a lot more like a shotgun. We have the Truth Serum Assault Rifle, the Onyx Echo Sniper Rifle, the Pocket Aces SMG, and then finally the Case Cracker Combat Knife. For operator skins, we have one which is Marshall, and it's his heist skin, so assumably that is what he wears during the casino heist. We have the loading screen, that's a good look at the devil, which is Adler, which is kind of interesting as a name. We have the finishing move, which is called the pickaxe. You have the spray, and then stickers and charms. Now, how do we get these? So for the first set here, it is simply for completing missions. So intro, contract, union, sandbox, and palace, which are together as one, redacted, heist, storm, sabotage, and then interrogation plus defend. So those are all of the missions that you can complete. So that's 11 total missions, which might actually not be all of them, because one example that they gave us of a mission in the trailer today.
My favorite mission is Emergence. It's a classic Black Ops, mind twisting, don't really know what's going on sort of vibe to it. And I think players are really going to enjoy it.
So as you can see, Emergence isn't any of those missions. I think technically it could be the redacted mission, especially because it's that trippy mission and it does sound really awesome. But at the very least, there is 11 total missions within the campaign, at the least. So those are all for completing missions. But then down at the bottom, we have things within the safe house. So 3 of the blueprints are received for upgrading stations in the safe house. The 4th is for completing a puzzle in the safe house. Now, if you don't know what the safe house is, first of all, let me play the trailer and then let me explain it.
The safe house is a place to go in between missions. It gives the player a chance to explore.
It's where you can really see these characters and feel who they are and what they're going through.
There is also upgrade stations, so the player can upgrade themselves with improved equipment, improved abilities.
The safe house will grow as the player progresses through the game. The set dress will change, the visuals will change, and you'll notice different things that weren't there before.
So that's a little bit confusing. So a couple ways to look at this. Number one, you can go around the safe house and talk to your fellow colleagues, if you want to call them that. So you can go up, talk to Frank Woods, he'll give you some speech options, which is awesome for lore. I'm glad that they're doing this. But also another thing that you can do is renovation. So let me read you what they put on the blog. Seek out piles of cash while playing the campaign to invest back in your safe house. Now, the safe house is a manor perched atop a granite cliff that used to serve as a KGB black site in the 1950s and 1960s. As the safe house evolves, gain additional customization options to fine-tune your operator for the next mission. So in other words, you go around missions. Around missions, you're going to be able to pick up cash, which you can then spend at your safe house to upgrade certain things. What those upgrades are, we don't know at this point, but they're upgrades nonetheless. Now, the question is, who are you upgrading? Well, that comes to the character that we play as.
So the player is playing a CIA operative named William Calderon. He goes by Case.
So Case is our mysterious character that we play as, or William Calderon as a long form. But Case isn't going to be the only person that we play as.
Throughout the campaign, you'll be playing as Case, but there are other opportunities and other missions where you will play as other members of the team. And under the radar, you're playing as Sev, and she gets her own uniform and is disguised as a person who's working the base. We're hammering home to the player, this is a different character you're playing as. And so prototyping a mechanic around her having heightened keen-eye senses, integrating that into the flow of the mission worked really well.
So I don't know how many other characters that you will play as, but they're talking about Sev or Savati Dumas, who is a mysterious assassin. I talked about her in the video that I put out earlier today and her whole backstory, which is way, way deeper than you probably thought. Now, the final challenge that we talked about there is the puzzle at the safe house. So as far as the puzzle goes, this all has to do with your evidence board. And on your evidence board, on the blog post, they said this: check the Manor's evidence board between missions to access additional intel and mission briefings. This is where the tactical planning occurs. Also, piece together the puzzles within the storyline between deciding on your best course of action. In other words, your evidence board is how you are going to solve this puzzle that is at the safe house. Now, what that is and what that will reveal, I don't know, but it has something to do with the story. And what is cool is that this year, these are not the only campaign rewards. We also have all of these. So these are all calling cards, a couple of which are redacted, which I believe is because those have spoilers on them. But you can see a bunch of things, numbers included, a bunch of things that have to do with the overall story. For example, the stabbing of Adler on the evidence board there, that kind of reminds you of Stitch. But to get these, it says, in addition to campaign rewards, expect a series of unique calling card challenges featuring special mission parameters to unlock a variety of stylish calling cards upon completion. Some examples are shown above, so in other words, these are not all of them, but the exact criteria for earning all campaign calling cards, including Dark Ops challenges, must remain redacted. So I think this is pretty cool. So these, the calling cards, are going to be unlocked by completing missions in certain ways. So maybe being stealthy the entire time, or getting a certain amount of kills in a certain way, maybe with knives. But even these are not all of them. And on top of this, there are Dark Ops challenges, which are hidden for campaign as well. So a lot of real replayability when it comes to campaign, and specifically doing this. Speaking of replayability, this is one thing that they said during that interview.
The sheer variety in the game is pretty spectacular in that there's a lot of space to explore. Player can do it in any order they want. We're allowing different strategies in these spaces.
You'll find that your buddy played it differently and they got a whole different result, or that something happened to them that didn't happen to you. So there's a lot of replayability.
So I really do think it's important to note what they said there. They said there's something that may happen to your buddy that didn't happen to you. So obviously, based off of how you complete missions, you're going to see different parts of the story or different ways that missions will play out. But this could very well mean that this game has multiple endings, like we saw in Black Ops Cold War and like we saw in Black Ops 2. By no means is that confirmed, it's just definitely possible. So that summarizes most of the gameplay and how the elements will work and how you get rewards, but let's look at a couple other things, like some locations that will take place within the campaign.
We'll hit Kuwait, Iraq, Washington, D.C., Soviet Union, and then from there, we fill in the gaps with, what are just cool locations that we want to do that are fun, provide big experiences, big moments, and really fit the characters in the story.
Now, speaking of story, that pretty much summarizes everything you need to know about the gameplay, how the safe house is going to work, how the campaign rewards are going to look like, and what the missions are actually going to look like. If you want to know more about the story, check out my video from earlier today. I covered all of the story, the character's background, what is going on with the Black Ops 6 story moving forward, so be sure to check that one out. And of course, I'll have many more videos coming over the next coming days, weeks, months in regards to Black Ops 6. So make sure you're subscribed, turn notifications on. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're made